the two things that determine how close I'm willing to let somebody get to me. Like how deep of a connection we're going to have. How good of natural chemistry we have. We need to have a good vibe, naturally, that I don't feel like I'm straining, and neither of us have any real control over that. The second one is how emotionally intelligent that person is. I have extremely big standards for people that I call close connections these days, in terms of their emotional intelligence. It's really just not negotiable for me anymore. What is emotional intelligence? Well, I don't want to scramble to come up with a definition in a minute and a half, so let's see. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and utilize your own emotions and those of others effectively. There, took me less than 10 seconds. Yeah. Emotional intelligence is just maybe my biggest value for people these days. And you realize when you've set that standard that limits how many people you're really going to call a close connection. How many people you're really going to spend a whole lot of time with. People who are extremely emotionally intelligent are somewhat rare. And it's just because emotional intelligence requires a lot of dedicated work. It pretty rarely happens by accident. You can have circumstances in your life that lead you to the point where you need to develop emotional intelligence. There could be some external influence in it. But it is an ongoing process for the rest of your life that you need to be continuously aware of your emotions. And it's so annoying because feeling like I have solid emotional intelligence, building it up, is a slow process, but it can take just a couple wrong moves for me to be like, man, I really got some work to do on that now. But yeah, I really am limiting how many people I really call close connections these days. I mean, it doesn't matter what I call them. I'm limiting how many people I really give a whole lot of dedicated time to. Because I need people to be doing the same level of work on their own emotional intelligence that I'm doing on myself. And I need to watch myself sometimes. I need to apply said emotional intelligence to make sure that I'm not just being misanthropic. That I'm not just distancing from people with this general hate toward humanity that's really a projection of things I hate about myself. I've done that in the past. I've been a social outcast. I've been a recluse, and I've done it in the name of some sort of nobility of like, well, people aren't as like high a quality as me. This has nothing to do with personal quality. This has to do with my own well-being. It's in service of my well-being that I keep people who don't have what I consider a high enough level of emotional intelligence at a distance. Because if I just allow everybody to have my time and attention, regardless of that, I end up feeling crazy. I literally start feeling like I'm losing my mind. Because there will be things that are obviously just so obviously the case. Obviously an issue that's not being addressed, and obvious solutions that are not being utilized for issues. And the classic, you become who you hang out with. I find myself devolving into less emotionally intelligent patterns when I'm around people. And I can have a level of emotional intelligence and just act like a stupid person, you know. But I end up just feeling stupid after a while if I do that enough. Your actions don't initially dictate your internal world, but over time, repeated actions do. But lest I sound like I'm being super judgy, or lest I sound like I'm just saying I'm king of emotional intelligence, I'm not. I got a lot of work that I still got to do on myself. And I go through phases of not doing the best. And if people need to distance themselves from me when I'm not in my more emotionally intelligent stages, I have no choice but to be understanding of that. But the greatest thing about emotional intelligence development is don't do it for me or anybody else. The person who benefits the most is oneself. It feels so good to deeply know yourself more and more and more. I think that's the biggest act of self-care you can do, is to really, really understand what is going on inside of this person.